Good evening, lovelies, and if you do tune into my live, thank you. It's a bit late, I know, for doing a live, but I wanted to jump in trying to be consistent here and do a live video on Saturday, like I've been doing, just showing you another quick and easy card technique. So for those of you who are watching live, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy this technique. If you're not watching live, then, but rather watching on the replay, feel free to hashtag replay, comment hashtag replay. I know what I'm trying to say. And if you've got any questions, feel free to ask away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make this card here. Now, this card is, again, a card that I was shown by by another consultant, and they called it Chop Stick. So last week I showed you the Rip Flip Stick, which was this one, which was pretty cool. You can check that out in this group, Charlotte Scrap and Chat. And this week it is Chop Stick. So this is what it looks like, and when you open it up, it's like that. So you might have seen it before. I don't actually know if I've ever shown you how to make this, but I'm going to walk you through this one. So for those of you who don't know, my name's Charlotte Burns, and I love to teach. I love making things, but even more so, I love to teach. So I'm going to teach you today how to make this. Now, all you need is a card base. So I've got a card base here. You need some pattern paper. You can just use coloured cardstock if you want. Some 3D foam tape. I've got both the regular 3D foam tape, that's this one here, as well as the thin 3D foam tape. Now, I'm using the narrow just because that's what I've got. You need some scissors to cut it with and some regular adhesive as well. I've mentioned in one of my very first videos that what I often do is when I have a stamp set, so I'm just going to show you what I used on that card. When I have a stamp set like this, I'll often go ahead and just cut out some extra bits from the stamp set. So for this one, it is flowers. So here I've got just a pile of extra flowers and bits and pieces, and I just store them in the back of the stamp set so that if I pick that stamp set up, then I've got them there ready to go. So I've got them ready, and I'm going to show you how to put this together. So this is how it works. You do also need a trimmer. So I'm just going to roll away from the camera and grab my trimmer. I'm using just the Fiskars 12-inch trimmer. If I go like this, you'll see and I've got a bit of paper stuck in there. So I'm just using the Fiskars 12-inch trimmer. I want to make sure that I have this so you can see what I'm doing. Now, what you want to do is, it's a little bit different. Rather than measuring here, we actually measure from the score line. So this is one of the card bases from Close to My Heart. And when you fold this in half, which I'm going to just do now, it measures 4 1/4 wide by 5 1/2 long, deep, whatever. I don't know, however you want to say that. So if I just give that a fold a couple of ways, it means that I should be able to see the score line easier. And what you want to do is put the score line where your blade cuts, but then move it across to 1 1/4. So you're going to cut 1 1/4 inches away from the score line. Now, for this card, it actually measures at 3 inches. So I'm going to throw a few different measurements at you. But you want to cut 1 1/4 inches away from that score line, or cut it on the 3-inch mark and cut down. And then with this piece, you want to cut another piece that is 1 1/4 inches. So I'm actually cutting the 1 1/4 inch here, just because it's easier to do. So in effect, we've got a 1 1/4 inch piece here, a 1 1/4 inch piece here, and a 1 3/4 inch piece. All right. Okay. Now you can use that 1 3/4 inch piece. I can put that aside now to cut out your embellishments or do a little title or whatever you like, really. But you'll see in a minute I use that to hold the two pieces together. So we're just going to squash them down. So these pieces here are now 5 1/2 by 1 1/4. On this card, what I've done is I've actually used a 1 inch by 5 1/4 inch piece of pattern paper to just zhuzhy it up a bit, for want of a better term. So I've grabbed a piece of 6 inch by 4 inch. So this is an old piece of sample that I've had for a while. I've cut it down to 4 inches that right? No, sorry, 5 1/4, because I'm going to do it that way. So I need it at 5 1/4 inches. And then I've just cut 1 inch strips from here. Now again, I like to cut it on this side, just something I like to do. So hopefully you can see that that's the 1 inch mark there. So I'm going to cut 2 of these, 1 and 2. So realistically, I can make 4 card fronts with 1 6x4 piece of pattern paper, which is pretty cool. All right, I'm going to stick these onto the front of my card like this. I don't really want to use that. And I'm using the Mono Air. So this is the new adhesive that Close to My Heart stock. It's refillable and it's pretty good. I really like it. The other tape runner that we use is the Close to My Heart tape runner, which, oh, I do have it on the table. There you go. So that's this one. Now, this one is not refillable, but that's also pretty special as well. So I'm just going to stick this. So this is 1 inch by 5 1/4 inches. You can always go to 1 1/8 by 5 3/8 if you really want to, but I know a lot of people are put off by measuring an eighth, and I think I've actually put that on crooked. And this is why I love the Mono Air, because I can just lift that off, and she says, and then it'll all rip. I can lift that off if I'm pretty quick about it, and it shouldn't rip the paper underneath too much. It might rip it a little bit, but that's okay because I'm only going to be sticking it straight back down again. It's quite cool in here. If it was warmer I'm actually in my garage, which is probably why it sounds very echoey. My apologies if it does. I'm just putting a little bit more adhesive. So although that's still sticky, I just want to make sure that it does stick down. If it was warmer in here, that would come off a lot easier. And there is a way that you can take it off too. If it's not coming off, if you use your heat embossing gun, or your embossing gun, and just give that a bit of, or even a hair blow dryer, it heats the glue up, and that will help to get it off as well. All right, just lots of tips, lots of sharing here. I'm doing the other one, and I also apologize for the lighting in here. I usually do these videos during the day, so the lighting is a lot better because I've got this beautiful window over there, and the lighting, yeah, just sunlight. You can't beat sunlight. Now what I want to do, oh no, that's okay, I'll do it that way. So then I'm sticking this one on, and then this one will go on this side. Don't stick anything down yet. What I do want to do is often just use my scissors, the handle of my scissors, just to burnish that. So press that so it's nice and flat. Then I need to cut this piece short, a little bit shorter, so that I don't have the overhang. And I'm going to use this piece to stick the flowers on. So working out what size I need. This is 4 1/4. And I've brought it down to 4. So I need about 3 3/4, this one here. So whatever's left over by 3 3/4, or you can just have, you know, any sort of scrap piece of paper that's wide enough to go across there. But hey, I've got this. So I may as well use that. And that's just wide enough to hold my pieces together. Now, before I stick anything down, I'm pretty well going to copy this because I quite like the way that one came together. So what I need is one of these flat poppies, 2 of the round poppies. I'm just pulling out my pile. And I did use 3 leaves, so 1, 2, and 3, but I've only got 2 stamped leaves left. So I'm going to show you how you can extend your leaves a little bit, and that is just simply by chopping it in half and then hiding part of it. I'm just going to chop that in half. So I've now got 1, 2, 3 leaves that I can put around my flowers. Next, I wanted to show you how I coloured these in. So on this particular card, I've used Peach Shimmer brush. I'm not sure if that's shimmering for you or not. Let's see if I can get it to shimmer, can I? No. Anyway, so I've used a Peach Shimmer brush, and I've also used the Julep Shimmer brush. I love colouring in with shimmer brushes because they are just so easy. So here is my julep shimmer brush, and I'm going to use this again. I love the julep colour. Not sure if we can still get julep, but any colour really. It's just I don't have the full range, believe it or not. All right, and it's just a matter of really quickly doing this. And I'm not going for the fully coloured in, you know, totally perfect look, believe it or not. Yes, believe it or not. I just want to put a little bit of colour on there. I could even have just done it completely black and white, but I do want to put colour on it. So it's that quick. And that then has given it some shimmer. Can I get the shimmer happening? Yes, there we go. Surely you can see the shimmer. Show me some hearts if you can see that shimmer. Isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful. Love my shimmer brushes. Might have to do a little bit of a tutorial if you've never seen shimmer brushes before. The new shimmer brushes, so I've had these for a while, and I've actually put a little sticker, Dymo sticker on them so that I know the colours, but the new ones have actually got the colour printed on them, which is fantastic. All right, now, as I mentioned before, this was peach because I thought it went really well, but because I've used a different pattern paper, this one, I think this one is ballerina. I'm actually going to use ballerina shimmer brush. So on my flowers, just move the leaves out the way. On my flowers, I wanted to show you how you can get more of a depth of colour. Hopefully it'll work. Don't know that it will. So we give it a shake, take the lid off, make sure it's nice and juicy. And again, I'm not that fussed about, you know, getting a perfect colouring in. Kind of want to, get within the lines. Make sure though that you are colouring sections. Whoops, that didn't work. Colouring sections. Those of you who know me can see what I'm doing, and I'm trying not to get my hands all glittery because I don't like getting my hands dirty. So colouring in sections, so you're not going over a section twice, because when you do, you will get a darker shade. So here we go. It's so quick, so quick. So there's my first coat. Now if I come back, oh, I forgot the middle bit. Okay. If I come back and do more, you'll see that it actually darkens it a little bit. So I just want to give it a few little brushes out like this, just from the center and from here as well. We're going to go up here and up here. Just going to color that in, and then just from the back here, just because I can, and from here. And that second coat makes the color deepen just that little bit. Now I can see lots of comments, and I'm not going to respond right at the moment, but I will come back in and respond to your comments if you have questions. But I really want to get this video done. So that was what I call the flat poppy. Now let's go for the big poppy. Now, one thing I know about color is when you are looking at something in the distance, it tends to be a different shade to what's closer to you. And I'm just trying to remember if it's darker as it goes away or if it's lighter as it goes away. So I'm going to do one of both. I'm going to do a light shaded one. So I'm just going to pop the lid on, give it a shake, make sure it's nice and juicy, because there's no point starting to colour if it's not nice and juicy, or it'll just run out and then be terribly dry. So you can see with this one, it's quite a light colour, and that's good. It does seem a little bit dry, but no, it's working now. It's a light colour, which gives me more scope for shading. I'm just quickly going around with the brush. It's not really doing what I want, but that's okay. I'm not that fussed. Trying in some respects to be less of a perfectionist. Don't laugh at me. All right, so we're getting there. All right, so this one, we're just going to go around. And as I said, you can see how quick it is to colour in with these and just how gorgeous it is. And if I could send you one of these, you would see the gorgeous, gorgeous shimmers of the brush. Now this looks like it's getting a bit dry, so I'm going to just finish there, cap it again and give it another shake. There we go. And that just shakes the juice back into the nib. And then we're going to come around on this bit. And you'll see I am missing some bits. Like there's a little bit of white, but I really don't mind. That's just the effect that I'm getting on this particular image. All right, and then round this one. And look, I even went out of the lines, but never mind. All right, so let's put the brains trust to work. This is a little bit dry. Is it lighter at the front or is it lighter at the back? Let's have a think. If you're looking into the distance, it is lighter at the back and darker at the front. Yeah, I have a feeling I did this card wrong because I thought it was darker at the back, but I think it's actually lighter at the back. All right, so the next card, this one that I do, I'm going to have it darker at the front. There we go. So I'm just trying to get that nib nice and juicy again. There's a couple of ways to make your nib juicy. One is to shake it like that, and the other one is to actually give it a very gentle squeeze. I don't really like giving it a squeeze. I'm going to colour this one in because sometimes you can get too much juice in that nib. So to make it darker, I am simply going to go over the entire image again with a second coat. And this will put down another layer of pigment, which you'll see probably as I'm doing it, but I will show it side by side as well. When I've finished, it makes the whole flower, everywhere I've coloured, just that little bit darker. And you can keep going with more and more layers. Yeah, this is a bit dry. All right, so the other way I mentioned is if you give it a little bit of a push, just a bit of a squeeze, and you just watch the juice from inside come down the nib. You do have to be very careful, as I mentioned, that you don't push it out too much, too quick. I think this is it coming now. Maybe. And what I'm doing, there you go, is I'm actually squeezing so it goes into the center of the flower because I don't mind if this is a lot darker. You can see that's really juicy now and super, I don't know if you can see that, but that is like really very, very shimmery. So I'm just going to put some of that just to try and dry it off into the middle of that one. And I'm also going to put it into the middle of that one as well. And then we will come around and do the rest of these. There we go. And this here dries fairly quickly. I don't know if somebody just asked that. Okay, so that's that one done. So now I'm going to see if that looks better. I still think that the lighter one should go at the front. All right, we'll see how we go. So there's our card. Here's our leaves. And there's our flowers. Now we want to line this one up that's not joined to anything. So we really want to line that up. I'm going to try and keep this all in the camera. Line that up with the edge of your card. Again, I'm not sticking anything down just yet. I just want to get it placed. Put this wherever you want it. You can do it down the bottom, up the top, in the middle. I want to do it roughly in the middle, but towards the bottom. I do prefer the lighter one at the front rather than at the back. So I'm going to put this one here, and the idea is to try and cover up as much of this white base as I can. So that one roughly there. I don't want the flower sticking out over the edge of the card. The next one is the flat based one, and that's going to go there. And again, I don't want that sticking out beyond the edge of the card. Doesn't really matter so much if this bit goes crooked. And then this one will come here, and I want that down a little bit. And then I'll stick my leaves in a second. Now, this is where the 3D foam tape comes in. So this one, the very back one, is going to be stuck down flat. These two are going to then be lifted. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to hold them down with my finger, as you can see, lift it up and put some tape underneath. Okay. Then I'm using the thin 3D foam tape on the first flower. So that's this one here. I'm actually going to take that one off. Know roughly where that's going. So that's going roughly there. That can go on there. And it's also going on that bit there. So this is a thin 3D foam tape. So I can put a little bit onto there, lift these off. Now, if you don't have nails like myself, you can use the scissors to lift it off, or you can use tweezers. Tweezers work well as well. Just going to line this all up again and make sure that I'm not going over the edge of the card. The problem with going over the edge of the card is it won't then fit in the envelope properly. All right, so that's those two. And next I want to put on this one. I want this sitting above all of them. So I need it to be thicker foam tape, which is the regular foam tape, which is about double the width of, double the height of this one. So the first piece I'm going to put down, it's a fairly big flower, so I can put down a fairly big piece. I'm going to put that down here because I'm going to have the flower down there. This flower overlaps this half flower, I actually need to use the thin 3D foam tape. If I use the thick one, what's going to happen is I'll have the base and then I'll have thin 3D foam tape. Then I'll have thick 3D foam tape. But where it overlaps, if I put thick 3D foam tape, it's going to be skew-if. Hopefully that makes sense. So I need thin 3D foam tape to make up that layer. So this is going to go on there. Peel them off. And the further down the card I come with this, the more room I've got to write inside the card. So there we go. They look pretty. And then I've got a little bit sticking over here. So that's where I'm going to pop one of my leaves. So I just want to play around a little bit and figure out where I'm going to stick my leaves. Now this is one that I cut. So I want to make sure that when I stick that down, that cut is actually hidden. So I can probably put one there. I could put one under there maybe. I think actually this one might be better off going here. Nope, let me just keep playing. I think that's probably the best area spot there. I could possibly put that one there. And then I might be able to put this one in there. There we go. That looks pretty good. Covers up that white bit. Covers up the fact that this one's cut. I can actually trim that white bit off the end of there. And to stick that under, all I need to do is put a tiny bit of adhesive onto that bit. Slide it under there. And there we have it. Now this, let's do this one next. So this one, pick it up and turn it over, and I have a look. And I just need a bit of this tape to go on there, and that's stuck down. Put that back down in place. So it's roughly like that. And then this one is going to sit somewhere here, like that. Turn it over, we'll have a look and see. Might even stick that underneath there. Like that. Yep, that looks good. So again, I'm just going to manipulate. Probably the easiest thing for me to do would be to put some adhesive in under there. And there you have it. There's all my flowers ready to stick down. Now it's this section here that actually keeps the right-hand side on the full card base. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that all of this is stuck down onto this piece of the card. So I'm going to flip that over to see how much I need to glue on here. So I'm going to put lots of glue on there. Flip that back. Beautiful. And then when I go to do this one, so I've got sparkles on my fingers, it's going to do my head in. I've got quite a bit more room to move. but I want to make absolute certain that this is lined up with the edge. So I don't want it coming in from the edge. I don't know if you can see that very well. I don't want it coming in from the edge. I want it right on the edge of the base or the back of the card. Close that over. That should pick up all of that adhesive. And then I open it up and there's my card. So there we go. Now the only thing I did differently with this one is I did put some of the cardstock on the inside. Sorry, the pattern paper on the inside, just so that when I'm writing in the card, I know where I can write. A little bit of adhesive there, but that's okay. So I can do that with this one as well. One of the pieces was where I had my, and I'll show you with the new piece. So where I had my 6" by 4" piece of pattern paper, remember I cut it down to 5 1/4. That's the piece that I cut off. So this little piece here is the perfect size to go on the inside. And it just depends on, you know, what's happening. If there's a big gap at the top or a big gap at the bottom, I think that it would look better to go down the bottom. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on here. Well, I'm not actually going to put a little bit. I'm going to put a good amount of adhesive on this piece and stick it just in from the edges down the bottom. So there's that piece. And then if I can find what I did with the other, here we go. Okay. So where I said that you could use this and get 2 cards, so I could cut 2 more pieces, cut this in half and have 2 more fronts, or I could also use this in the top here to cover up that piece. But if I did that, then I'd only have a very, very small piece of white on the inside to write on. So I might even leave that white and just have it like that, just for something different. Now, if you find that you've got some sticky bits because of the way you've glued, which I have, just grab a rub and erase, and that will pick up any of your adhesive that hasn't quite grabbed onto the paper. So I'm just going to go around and do that and get more sparkle dust on my fingers. I can also feel it. Obviously got some on there. So there you go. That is the chop chop stick, and I really don't like that, so I'm going to cut that. Chop chop stick card technique, 4 inches, 4 inches. And I'm going to cut this down to, might make it 1.5 inches. There we go. And this is just guessing, girls. I'm not doing this specifically at all. 1, 2, buckle my shoe, stick this in. There we go. There we go. Yes, I like that much better. Much, much better. So there you go. Fairly nice and simple and easy. I do hope that you have a go at this particular card technique. Have I made this with anything other than the flowers? No, I have not, but I have seen lots and lots done. You can really, you don't even need to do it with flowers. You could, when you cut all of that, rather than having flowers here, you can just have a sentiment. So I might even do a couple more and post them. I'd love to see what you can create. I'll take a photo of these and I will put a post up again if you'd like to go in the draw to win something next Saturday. I'll do another draw next Saturday if you have, if you've posted one of your card creations, that would be great. I have a massive apology to make to everybody for last week when I showed, was it the rip flip stick? Whatever card technique it was. Yes, the rip flip. Okay, so it was this technique. I apologize that I didn't put a post up, and I thank Michelle so much. Thank you so much, Michelle, for posting your card. I'm actually going to send you a gift. I also have an apology to Michelle. I still do have your little envelope. I found it today. It was in a safe place. So that's coming your way as well. Big bag of goodies for yourself. Now, next Saturday or sometime next week, I'm going to share a new technique. I don't have a name for this one, but this is the base of it. Now, I'm going to show a few different variations, but it's a folding technique to create a super cute card. I've used I'm not going to remember what it's called now. What's it called? It is called the Sweet as Honey. So this is using the Sweet as Honey paper. So I've used Sweet as Honey paper. Again, you can use anything, but if you tune in next week, I will be showing you how to make something similar to this and show you how easy it is. It's actually got pockets. So you open it up and it's got a pocket in there as well. So I'll show you how to decorate that up and what to put in the pockets and that sort of thing. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I will go back and answer any questions that you might have. Please share your creations. I love seeing your creations. I love it when people share and when people create. And I hope to share more this week. Well, no, next week, because it's nearly the end of this week. Have a great long weekend too. I didn't even realize Monday was like a public holiday. So have a great long weekend. Hope you get some crafting done. I did some scrapbooking today with a friend. Yeah, I think that's about it from me. Stay safe, keep crafting, and bye for now.